I'm Dave Anderson. Welcome to the management training program, The Art of Handling Mistakes. Somebody said, well, isn't the first step just not to make any mistakes? They asked me that one time. Well, ideally, that would be wonderful, but that's not the real world. The fact is, if you make decisions, you're going to make some mistakes. If you try new things, you're going to make some mistakes. The people, I think, who make the fewest mistakes are those who really don't do a whole lot, right? They're just those play-it-safe maintainers and just kind of tweaking their way through life. The more you do, the more mistakes you're likely to make. Now, there's a way to handle them, and there's also a way to handle it when others make mistakes. And in this program, we'll handle both scenarios, since these are effects of life, right? Since they're going to continue to happen in our lives and in the lives of others, it's good to have a little insight into how to best handle these as a leader. So let's get right to the opening thoughts in your notes. Opening thoughts: how you handle your own or others' mistakes goes a long way in determining the level of trust, buy-in, connection, and positive impact you can have on your team. Following are thoughts and strategies to help you master this important leadership skill. And it is a skill. It's not something you're just, comes to you in a dream one night. Okay, here's how I handle my mistakes and others' mistakes. It's something usually you learn by trial and error, by doing it the wrong way, and realizing what doesn't work and then making adjustments. But hopefully this will give you a head start. Whether you're a veteran leader or someone just getting started in leadership, these are things that I believe will always aid you in this endeavor. So phase one is how to handle our own mistakes. Phase two gets into handling the mistakes made by those on our team primarily. All right, so let's start with phase one. How to handle your own mistakes. Number one, basic premise, principle, we've got to start here. Admit it as quickly as possible. Just bring closure to it. The longer you try to disguise it, or blow smoke over it, or spin it, or maybe deflect the blame to somebody else, the more suspect you become, the more credibility you lose, the less trust others feel for you. So listen, just admit it as quickly as possible. It doesn't have to be a major announcement. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Say, hey, this is on me. All right, this one's on me. I made a bad call here. Or I should have thought that out a little bit better. All right, and when you're doing this, by the way, you're also teaching others to do the same thing. Look what it says. Waiting to admit it gives you gives a perception you're either oblivious to what you've done, which does not instill trust in people, right? That you're clueless to the impact of your actions, or that you may be looking for a way out of taking responsibility. Delayed confessions can give the appearance of a cover-up. You cover it up too long, it's no longer a cover-up. Now it's a conspiracy. And where does that leave your leadership credibility? Just remember this: you can't talk your way out of a situation you behaved yourself into. So if you've made a bad call, if you've made a blunder, don't try to talk your way out of it. Just own it. Right? That's one of the game changer mindsets we talk about in my podcast. Just owning it, bringing closure to it, and let's get everybody focused on moving on. Take a look here at letter A, please. The idea is to bring closure to a mistake quickly so you can focus on progress. You don't want to keep revisiting it, dodging it, hoping someone doesn't bring it up. Let's bring closure to it so we can decide what's next and begin to make progress, all right? Don't ruin an admission with an excuse. Look under letter A here. This is really important. So don't admit it and then make an excuse for why you did it, okay? Just own it. Don't ruin an admission with an excuse. Just own it, even if it's not all yours to own. That's what leaders do. All right, even if there was a lot of blame to go around, if you're the leader, just own it, all right? Ultimately, it stops with you. All right, so this is step one. We could just stop right here, and this would help some people, because some people's egos are so inflated. They have this insecurity to where if they admit a mistake, somehow they look weak. Somehow that's a sign of weakness. Actually, it's a sign of strength, because number one, people know how hard that is. They know how hard it would be for them if they were in that situation. So they're not looking down on you for that. They're looking up to you because they know it's a tough thing to do, right? And it builds connection. It builds trust. And again, you're leading by the right example. All right, it's a big step. All right, so don't let your ego get in the way of doing what's right. You'll eventually lose the esteem and trust of your team. All right, you lose their trust and you replace it with disgust when you don't admit mistakes, especially if you try to put it on them, which just compounds the error. Now you've made a huge mistake. All right, so admit it quickly. Number two. Number two, learn from it, then don't repeat it. I mean, Bear Bryant said, this isn't in your notes, he said, but when there's a mistake you make, there's three things you should do. Admit it, learn from it, don't repeat it. Okay, so we do want to learn. We just don't want to keep admitting we made the same mistake. Right, we do want to learn from it. I mean, admitting it's great, but eventually, you know, you want to admit you're making new mistakes, not the same old mistakes. I joke that over the years, I take pride in the fact that I do new stupid things, okay, which is a far better step than continuing to do the same old stupid things. Because if I was doing the same stupid things, it indicates I'm not paying attention, I'm not aware, I'm not learning. But the fact that I do new stupid things indicates I'm trying some new stuff. I'm taking some shots, right? I'm making some changes. I'm taking some risks, and some of them are not going to work out that well because I want to learn from the past mistakes. So when I do make a mistake, I want it to be a new one. I want to have brought closure and put the other one behind me. And you should want to do the same thing, I would hope. Look at what it says. You can never make the same mistake twice because the second time you make it, it's not a mistake, it's a choice. That's a good quote. Interesting way of looking at it, right? Somewhere along the line you didn't pay attention, you didn't learn. And so in a sense you didn't make the same mistake twice. Now you made it and you have to make kind of a decision, make a choice in order for that to happen again. So you want to learn from it. This is the great aspect of one of those game changer affirmations I talk about in the Game Changer Life podcast, I talk about in my book Unstoppable, is when something happens, don't think that it happened to you. Believe that it happened for you. How can I use it? Okay, I made a mistake. How can I use it? Okay, how can I use it? How can I learn from it? How can I become stronger, wiser, and better as a result of it? If you look at them that way, you'll stay in your zone, you'll stay productive, and again, you'll be leading by a powerfully strong example. All right, so you want to admit it quickly. Obviously, you want to learn from it. Number three, let's get to it. Teach others from your mistake. I mean, it's just a great way. It's a great way to teach. It's a great way to coach. John Maxwell said in the quote here under number three, to impress people, share with them your successes, but to impact them, share with them your mistakes. You know, if you want to impress people, talk about all the great stuff you've done. And that's okay. I mean, to a point, right? I mean, you don't want to get carried away. But if you really want to impact them, if you really want to build trust and connect with them and influence them in a positive way, share with them your mistakes. All right? But not just that you made it, but what became of it, so maybe they can avoid that consequence, right? How you've gotten better because of it and what you're doing now. Man, when you can teach from your mistakes, now you're building bondedness and trust with your team, and you're elevating them to a higher level. So it's a good quote by Maxwell. And then number four, this is a big one because some of us, we hold on to that mistake and we keep beating ourselves up. So pay attention to number four. Number four, get over it and move on, all right? Quit rehearsing it. Quit second-guessing yourself. Quit rehashing it. Quit telling yourself what a stupid thing it was to do. Sometimes it's not that other people are piling on you for your mistake. You just can't even let yourself off the hook, right? You're your own worst enemy. You know, piling on yourself. It's like, okay, I made a mistake. Guess what? Welcome to the human race. I'm learning from it. I'm teaching others because of it. I'm better as a result of it. I'm moving on. All right, I'm not going to continue to carry that baggage into the next day, into the next meeting, in with the next one-on-one or next customer. I'm not going to bring it home, right? It's over. That's part of bringing closure. It's over. I'm not going to keep giving it energy and my focus and my passion and my enthusiasm. I'm not going to let it hijack those things over and over again. Some people just beat themselves up continually. I mean, they wouldn't talk to their worst enemy the way they talk to themselves, right? You got to get past it. Look what it says. Continuing to rehearse, rehash, or blame the mistake is your second mistake. Okay, if you can't get over it, now you've just made a second mistake. If you've admitted it, learned from it, and adjusted because of it, move on to gaining new ground. You know, sometimes we're a lot quicker to forgive others than we are to forgive ourselves. You got to forgive yourself, right? You don't want to go on and do the same thing again. That's why you have to do the other steps. But that last part's a big one. My guess is some of you may be carrying some stuff around from a long time ago, all right, and you're still what-ifing. I would have, I could have, I should have, I shouldn't have, whatever. And it's time to leave that garbage behind, man, and live in the now. Quit letting yesterday's mistakes hijack today's focus and joy and passion and enthusiasm and progress. That's on you. All right, if you're choosing to do that, that's on you. That's your fault. You got to stop that, and you can. You can choose to face forward, to leave it behind. You can choose a better way. All right, so there's some ways that we handle our own mistakes, all right? Now, let's move on to phase 2. We'll talk about handling the mistakes of others. Number 1, I could have called this "Don't be a jerk," but instead I called it, number 1, don't get personal. You know, separate the mistake from the person. Separate the performance from the person. There's a difference saying, man, that was an idiotic thing to do, rather than saying, you know, you're an idiot. There's a difference saying, boy, that was a thoughtless, stupid thing to do, rather than saying, man, you are thoughtless and stupid. Okay, you've got to separate the performance from the performer. Attack the performance if you must, you know, but don't attack the performer. Don't make it personal. You don't have to get loud and profane and insulting and make it personal. That would be a mistake. That loses trust and connection. Don't be a jerk. Focus on the issue without getting personal with the individual that caused the issue. All right, let's fix the performance. Let's find out what they were thinking, why they did it that way, what they learned from it. Let's maybe redefine what good performance looks like. You can do all that without breaking that connection and bond by becoming personal. So don't get personal, especially in public. I mean, it's bad enough when you're in private, but sometimes somebody makes a mistake and somebody just gets personal and ridicules someone else in front of everybody else. What a jerk. I did a program on this called Don't Be a Management Jerk. If I'm describing you, first of all, I'm surprised you still have a job, because the people who subscribe to my materials know better than to put up with nonsense like that. But you need to go back and find that video. Find it on our online, find it in your video library and watch it, because if you're a management jerk, eventually it catches up with you. Your sell-by date is approaching. Believe me, there comes a time when enough is enough. Some of your people have already quit on you. They're still showing up every day to get their check, but they've quit on you. You know why? Because of you. So don't be a jerk, all right? Don't get personal. Oh, and if I hurt your feelings, go run to your safe space, speed dial mama, hyperventilating, right? I know that's the age we live in, but I think most of you can take the truth. And I'm talking about you. No sense in thinking about somebody else here, right? This is first and foremost about you. Don't get personal. All right, let's move on to number 2. Number 2, you want to address the mistake. Address it in direct, professional terms, without unnecessary drama or exaggeration. Sometimes we get all dramatic. I can't believe what you did in that situation. What were you thinking? We get all hyped up like we got the reality show cameras on us. You just be professional, be firm, be conversational, be direct, drop the hype, drop the drama. Don't make it a bigger issue than it was. You want everybody hyping up your mistakes? You want everybody getting all exaggerated and you know, dramatic over your errors? Then don't do it to somebody else. All right? Take a look at what it says here. Bringing the mistake to someone's attention may not even be necessary if they admit it to you first. That's what you're looking for. But in the event you see them make the mistake, this point really applies. Okay? I mean, professional, conversational, firm, approach it in that manner. Drop the hype and drama. Some of you get all bent out of shape. It's like you're waiting for someone to do it so you can pounce on them. I got you now. All right, now I get to go off on you. That's not the way to lead. It's not the way to impact or grow people either. All right, note number 3, focus the person. Look at 3. Focus the person on solutions, not on scapegoats. A lot of times when we're talking about a mistake someone made, they're not ready to take responsibility for it, okay, just like sometimes we're not. And so they start looking for scapegoats. Well, this happened, that happened, whatever. As a good coach, let's focus them on solutions, all right? Okay, what could we have done better? Okay, even if this other stuff affected you, what decision could you have made that might have marginalized that condition, marginalized this thing you couldn't control? What could you have done? All right, what would you do next time based on what you've learned? Focus them on those things. It's so productive to focus on solutions because now you're staying in your zone and you're moving forward. When you're focused on scapegoats, you're looking at what's around you instead of what's in front of you, and progress is with what's in front of you, not with what's around you. So take a look. Asking questions like, here's some things you could ask them. What should you have done better, or what should you have done instead? I mean, this will help you kind of gauge where their thinking is, where their head is at. What do you recommend we do from here? Again, this is part of coaching, not always fixing everything, not always giving them all the answers, but helping them think for themselves. Remember, a good coach wants to make people less dependent on him or her. And so you're getting them to think, you're getting them to take ownership in the solution. You're getting them to take ownership in what they're going to do better next time. And that's so important because people support what they help create. So if they're trying to create the solution, if they're part of the solution, they're more likely to be more vested in that solution and to do it right the next time, to do it better, rather than if you're just dictating what they need to do. That might get you compliance. It won't get you commitment that you're going to see if they're involved. So that's why I like those questions. So what could you have done or should you have done better, or instead? What do you recommend we do from here? What did you learn, and how can you ensure you don't repeat the error? Okay, that's a fair question. Okay, I learned this, and I'm going to put this in place so I don't do it again. These are non-confrontational, collaborative ways to help the person grow by causing them to think and to commit to act. Okay, that's the whole point of this, is to use mistakes as a teaching tool, not as a battering ram. It's a great coaching opportunity, all right, to impact someone, to impact them, to build trust with them, to help them think, to help them grow, to help them improve. What an opportunity. I know it's not convenient. Somebody drops the ball, somebody makes a mistake, someone makes a bad choice, a bad decision, whatever, right? But it is an opportunity if you look at it that way and look at it as a chance to help get this person more focused and better, especially when you ask questions like these, right? So focus them on solutions and then help them come up with those solutions by asking those type of provocative, collaborative questions. This is a big point here with number 4. And by the way, so much of this not only applies, you probably have noticed, at work, but in your personal life. Like so many of our leadership lessons, principles are principles. And the things that you would apply at work, I mean, if you're a husband or you're a mom or a dad, whatever, and you make a mistake at home, follow the same principles. If your kid makes a mistake, follow the same principles. And the reason I bring this up is because number 4 is a big one where we tend to pile on people, not only at work, but at home. So this will help you in both places. Let's take a look. Number 4. When confronting a mistake, don't rattle off their personal indictment of past unrelated mistakes. Sometimes we use this as an opportunity to remind them of all the other boneheaded things they've done that aren't even related to this, okay, that are totally different. But we take out their rap sheet and we're reading all this stuff off and just reminding them, you got to get past that stuff. That's not relevant to this conversation. Now, if they made the same mistake again, okay, then you would bring it up. But you don't keep bringing up stuff that happened yesterday, a week ago, 6 months ago, 16 years ago, because there's a new mistake. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not productive. That is not moving forward. All right, so this isn't an opportunity to take out their rap sheet and read off the 10-charge indictment in court, in your own little personal leadership court. So stay away from that. Look what it says. You're not proving a case in court. You're addressing and correcting a behavior. Keep the main thing the main thing. Okay, now in your own mind, you may be reviewing the fact that, this person has a history of carelessness. And as I kind of review the game film of their career, the game film of their tenure with our company, I'm seeing a disturbing pattern here. Okay, you could certainly be aware of that, certainly be watching for that, but bringing the whole reel up, bringing the whole game film up of their entire tenure, time and time again is not helpful or healthy. My guess is you're not bringing all the great things they do up over and over again, right? So why would you bring up all the bad things or wrong things that they've done over and over again? We usually don't bring up the highlight reel as much as we bring up the bad reel. That's just a fault of leadership. So take note of that one, whether it's with someone on your team or someone in your family. Same principle, very applicable. Number 5 is big. You got to do this. This is how people grow. Take a look at number 5. Encourage the person to take another shot. All right, you know what? Insist your people take shots. If they miss, coach them, let them learn from it, let them figure out how to do it better, and then insist that they take another shot. Very often people start to lose their initiative. They lose that killer instinct. They lose some of that passion they had when they make a mistake, especially if we handle it the wrong way. And we can just basically just snuff out their spirit to where they're no longer changing or risking or dreaming or trying things, right? And so we can't afford to have people on our team that way. Insist. I should probably have used the word insist that they take another shot. Just don't encourage them. Insist they go after it. Go make something happen. You go make that decision next time. And continue to give them responsibility that they're worthy of. Don't hold that one thing against them over and over again. Look what it says. Mistakes are part of the growth process. It's what it takes to grow. Because you got to do new things to grow. You're not going to grow if you're comfortable doing what you've always done. If you're doing what you've always done, here's the good news. You're less likely to make mistakes. But you're not going to grow just doing what you've always done, because what gets you here won't get you there. So to go from here to here, you're going to have to try some new things. And you're going to make some mistakes, just like I am, and just like your people are going to do. That's part of the growth process. Let's maximize it by following these steps, all right, and encourage them. Based on what they've learned now, they should be in a better position to be successful next time. So by all means, go take another shot. You know, you just got educated in this area, so of course I want you to take another shot. You're stronger, you're wiser, you're better than you were before you made this mistake now, because we handled it the right way. So with all this going for you, for goodness sakes, go take another shot. There's a story told of a gentleman that was working for Thomas Watson Sr., the founder of IBM. And this was a long time ago when $10 million was really a lot of money to IBM, and he had a key executive that lost $10 million through a series of bad decisions he was making with a new initiative, and the executive came in to resign. And he said, I've lost the company this money, and I know you're probably going to fire me, so I'm just going to resign. And Mr. Watson said, fire you? Resign? We just spent $10 million educating you. Go out there and take another shot. And that was a much more productive way of handling that, and it was true. It was true. Take another shot. Insist that they do it. All right. Notice what it says again. Mistakes are part of the growth process. If someone stops trying, they and the organization miss out on the benefit of learning from past errors. And so let's learn the lesson. Great. We learned the lesson. Let's cash in on that lesson. Let's make that mistake pay by taking what we learned from it, taking another shot, and cashing in this next time. So there you have it. The art of handling mistakes, yours and others. Let's take a look now at the action plan. Real simple. You got a couple of things to look at here. You're going to be looking at your own self in the mirror and then coaching others that have made mistakes as well. This is an art. It is a serious skill set. And when you develop it in both areas, handling your own, that we're going to continue to make, no doubt about it, and handling others that they're going to continue to make, there's no doubt about it, you will grow in respect, you will grow in leadership, you will grow in your own skill set and ability to impact others. You'll grow as a coach, you'll grow as their leader, and they will grow, and together you can grow the organization. So give this some serious thought, get after it, fill out the action plan, and we'll talk again real soon.